Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monson Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning. It's Friday. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I was just getting myself comfortable in my chair. How is everybody today? It is Friday, May 9th. Mother's Day is tomorrow in Mexico. Of course, Mother's Day can be in different days elsewhere, but Mother's Day is tomorrow. I hope you have great plans for you as a mom or as a son or daughter. Here in Puerto Vallarta, we are, oh my goodness, Daniel is in the house from the airplane. I wonder where you're going, Daniel, and I look forward to seeing you soon. It's great that you're here. And I remember when you could smoke on airplanes. So the fact that we now have technology that allows one to connect is really amazing. I guess I'm that old. Who remembers being able to smoke on a plane? How crazy is that? Ew. Just the thought of it makes me squirm. Anyhow, it is Friday night. We don't have a lot of news, but we have a very important bit of news to unpack today. The world has a new pope, and we have to go there. And we are going to take a look at what happened. We're going to take a look at how the news was acknowledged by dignitaries around the world. Then we're going to take a look at how the news was acknowledged here in Mexico by our Catholic leaders. They will take a look at some practical considerations that we may want to think about while getting used to a new pope, whether you're Catholic or not. And then we have just one itty-bitty news item from SEAPAL. And then what else do we have today? We have just a couple of nice reminders that I want to share with you. So, and I want to talk to you a little bit about what it was like to be part of the focus group yesterday at the International Friendship Club. What an amazing endeavor that was. And I want to tell you all about it. As usual, I welcome your questions. If they have a capital letter Q, then you increase the chances that we're going to look at them live. And if you are watching us live for the first time, feel free to write a capital letter N, and we will give you a lovely little welcome. So let's get started. And we start with the news themselves. As I mentioned yesterday morning, just minutes before we started our broadcast, the Sistine Chapel emitted the long-awaited white smoke on the second day of the conclave, an unequivocal sign that the cardinals had reached a consensus and elected the new leader of the Catholic Church. The election came after several rounds of voting, culminating in the traditional announcement marking the beginning of a new pontificate. Pope Francis Prevost, 69 years of age, became the first American pope who also holds a Peruvian nationality. But he's the first American pope in the history of popes. He has chosen the name of Leo XIV. Now, I have some basic reactions or main reactions to his election. In the United States, U.S. President Trump congratulated the new pontiff in a message on his Truth Social network. Former President Barack Obama congratulated his fellow citizen of Chicago, the Pope's birthplace and the Democrats' adopted city, and celebrated a historic day for the United States. Peruvian President Dina Boluarte highlighted the fact that Leo XIV is Peruvian by choice and conviction, with more than 20 years of service to the country. He chose to be one of us, to live among us and carry in his heart the faith, culture, and dreams of this country, she added, as Paco clears his throat. Thank you. Argentinian President Javier Milei said, "Today more than ever we long for the Pope's voice to resonate strongly in defense of the pillars that have sustained civilization, life as a principal gift, liberty as a sacred gift of the Creator, and private property as the foundation of personal responsibility and the development of peoples." Colombian President Gustavo Petro celebrated the election of an American Pope with deep ties to Latin America. He said, "I hope he will be a great leader of migrant peoples around the world, and I hope he will encourage our Latin American migrant brothers and sisters humiliated today in the United States." Ouch. He said this on X. "He is more than an American," the leftist added. Brazilian President Luiz Ignacio Lula da Silva asked the new Pope to continue the work of the late Pope Francis. "I hope he continues the legacy of Pope Francis, whose main virtues were the relentless pursuit of peace and social justice, the defense of the environment, dialogue with all peoples of all religions, and respect for the diversity of human beings." That's what Lula wrote in X. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum, of course, highlighted her humanist convergence with the new pontiff. "We congratulate His Holiness Leo XIV," she said. "I reaffirm our humanist convergence in favor of peace and prosperity for the world," she said. President Miguel Díaz-Canel congratulated the Pope on Thursday on his election and shared the desire to promote dialogue and peace. This is from Miguel Díaz-Canel, President of Cuba. "We will continue working to strengthen relations between Cuba and the Holy See, which celebrated their 90th anniversary this year," she said in X. He said in X. Leo XIV's first speech was a powerful call to peace, fraternity, and responsibility. These were the words of Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. "Italy looks with respect and hope to its spiritual heritage, which is part of the path forged by Pope Francis." The Spanish President, Socialist Pedro Sanchez, said he expects the new pontiff to contribute to strengthen dialogue and the defense of human rights. The Spanish King and Queen, in turn, noted that his call for peace inspires and encourages the Spanish royal family, and they posted this on X. It's worth noting, well, we'll talk about the Pope in a second. French President Emmanuel Macron called for the new pontificate to be a bearer of peace and hope. The president also sent a fraternal message to Leo XIV and to all Catholics in France and around the world during the celebration of the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II in Europe. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he hoped the Vatican would continue to support Kiev morally and spiritually to restore justice and achieve lasting peace with Moscow. Ukraine deeply appreciates the Holy See's consistent position in favor of respect for international law, condemning the Russian Federation's military aggression against Ukraine and protecting the rights of innocent civilians. This came from Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin said he hoped the American and Peruvian pontiffs would continue continue the constructive dialogue with the Kremlin. And this is just a sampling of some of the reactions around the world to the new Pope, mostly or mainly good wishes and very inspiring words and remarks. Now, Mexico's Episcopal Conference also reacted to Pope Leo XIV. In response to the announcement, the Mexican Episcopal Conference issued a statement regarding the decision of the 267th successor of Peter. And I quote, "With great joy, we received the news that after the fourth voting session of the cardinal electors, Cardinal Robert Prevost, prefect of the dicastery for bishops, has been elected pope and will bear the name of Leo XIV, becoming the 267th successor of Peter. The statement reads, "We are certain that the Holy Spirit has guided his election. In it, we recognize the will of Jesus Christ, who in the person and ministry of the Pope will continue to guide us to faithfully fulfill the mission that the Church and the world need at this moment in history." So what about Pope Leo XIII, you may be wondering? Here he is. He was, this is the name, that Pope Leo XIV has selected, and this is an apparent nod to Pope Leo XIII, who deserves to be called the founding father of Catholic social doctrine in modern times. Pope Leo XIII was head of the Catholic Church from February 1878 until his death in July of 1903, becoming the fourth longest reign of any pope behind those of Peter the Apostle, Pius IX, and John Paul II. So this is a little bit of what is going on out there, or what I read out there in different news sources. I'm wondering what you have read, and I would like to share some additional facts or considerations that I have come across, and some that just brew inside of my mind. It is nice to see that the new Pope speaks many different languages, that he is active on social media, much to the chagrin of United States Vice President J.D. Vance, who didn't get some kind words from the Pope before he became a Pope. And of course, there's the issue of, what do we call him? Do we call him Pope Leo? Pope Leo XIV has a nice roll in English, but in Spanish, 14th with a TH at the end is translated as Papa León XIV, which is just a ton of syllables. I wonder if Latin Americans or Spanish speakers are going to call him Papa León XIV, which sounds like a character from a science fiction novel, or simply Papa León. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets to be known or pronounced by Spanish speakers and the rest of the world. Of course, here in Mexico, the film Conclave is being brought back to the screens, or so I read online. So I look forward to your comments. If you have any comments about your reaction to this very important announcement, so much for focusing just on Puerto Vallarta news, but this doesn't happen a lot in our lifetime. I do have this one bit of news from local news. SEAPAL Vallarta carried out a corrective intervention on well 26A located in the Las Gaviotas neighborhood, with the goal of restoring its drinking water production capacity and ensuring a more efficient supply during the dry season. Thanks to the work carried out by the Drinking Water Production Department, the water supply increased its contribution from 12 to 20 liters per second, directly benefiting neighborhoods in the northern area of Puerto Vallarta. And this, of course, is great news. And I also wanted to tell you a little bit about this wonderful discussion that we had at the Friendship Club yesterday. It's hard to think about the fact that the International Friendship Club has been around for 40 years. After the weather break, I'm going to show you a photograph of Los Muertos Beach from 1950, and that is 60 years ago. No, 70 years ago. So if the International Friendship Club has been around for 40 years, just imagine how many things this amazing organization has accomplished during its tenure, its existence. And of course, now comes the time in which the IFC has decided to take a good look in the mirror and figure out, what are we going to do with ourselves for the coming, in the near future, and for the next 5 years. Yesterday's focus group was attended by members of the board of the International Friendship Club. It was also attended by very important, influential members of our community. There were members there, such as photographer and writer Joseph Candle, or Cassandra Shaw from Cassandra Jewelry, and myself. We are not necessarily directly associated with a nonprofit organization. Then there were also members of other important associations, such as RISE or the Vallarta Garden Club, and the Qualis Spay and Neuter Clinic. And the discussions were truly fascinating. For me personally, it was a reminder that while there are a lot of good intentions in our community, there are so many communities to represent. And there were so many communities represented there. There were concerns about bilingual support. There were concerns about whether the organization should cater to newcomers or the already existing English-speaking community in Puerto Vallarta, or how much the organization should focus on these communities. There were discussions about high season and low season. There were discussions about accountability and transparency. So I was very, very humbled and honored to have been considered to be part of this discussion. And I am sure that great things will come from what I consider to be the mother of all nonprofits in Puerto Vallarta, simply by scope and by longevity. There are many nonprofits in the city, but the big one is the IFC. And I don't say that to demean or undermine the importance and contributions of other organizations, but this is a great opportunity for the International Friendship Club to step up and own its leadership role and its great example as a long-lasting organization. Now, you're probably wondering, what does that mean for you and I? Well, it means that here is an organization that is willing to look at itself with responsibility and willing to embrace change and renovation. So, what I would like to encourage you to do is to explore the website, join the mailing list. I will leave the IFC, the International Friendship Club's website, in the show notes. And I encourage you, each and every one of us, to become knowledgeable of how the amazing world of friendship and charitable sharing and giving that has been established by the International Friendship Club continues to improve the quality of life, not only of those people that choose to get close to the organization, but the many other organizations and thousands of individuals that benefit from the existence of the International Friendship Club. And that's what I have to say about that. Let us take a quick look at the weather just to see what's going on out there. And then I have a special farewell that I want to share with you. But first, Snarky Weather says, I just calculated the answer to the ultimate question. What have you done today? Well, I don't need to answer that because I'm busy talking about other things. But here we are, 28 degrees. Humidity is at 62%. Last night when I went to sleep, my thermometer next to my bed on my nightstand read 29 degrees at night inside of my apartment. So the ceiling fan was thrusting a lot of wind in my direction. What can we expect for today? A humid day with mostly cloudy skies, a high temperature of 30 and a low temperature of 21. Tomorrow, Saturday, we can expect a humid day with mostly cloudy skies, a high of 29 and a low of 19. And then Sunday, mostly clear skies in the morning with mostly cloudy skies in the afternoon. A 5% chance of rain, says Snarky Weather. And for the first time in many months, it actually spells it out. So could we start seeing rain? Oh, and a high temperature of 30 and a low temperature of 22. So could we start seeing occasional rain here in Puerto Vallarta? Who knows? Maybe it is coming. Maybe it is not quite here yet. I have other announcements that I wish to share. Let me start with this one. Not so much an announcement, but I came across this photograph of Los Muertos Beach taken around in the 1950s by the amazing journalist photographer Harry Rode, who covered our city for Life magazine way back then. But look at this. It's Los Muertos Beach. No condos, no Lapa Lapa, no pier, no nothing. It's just the pier. I mean, the beach. What a beautiful place. And what have we turned it into? I also want to, I want to clear my throat again. I've been doing a lot of that lately, but I'm still dealing with this thing that is almost gone. Hold on. So, I have someone here that wishes to say goodbye, or maybe wishes to report. Here she is. Here, well, not for me. This is not Luna, not for me. But here are her remains. This weekend, Luna is going to go to her final resting home, and that closes a chapter in my life. I keep telling to my friends that after 23 years of being continuous year of being a cat owner, I feel like the mother who has just sent out her kids to college and they don't live at home anymore. And what is this mother or father going to do with their personal time? And I look forward to traveling as much as my life and budget allows me to. And I look forward, of course, to not have to worry about what am I going to do with my pet while I'm gone. When the time comes when the world and the universe sends me a signal, I will probably adopt again because I am so used to having a kitty cat in my surroundings. More mundane, I want to give you this wonderful reminder. I think it's wonderful that for those of us that don't have a car, we can get to San Sebastián del Oeste and back very easily thanks to this van service called Transportes del Oeste that leaves Puerto Vallarta from Emiliano Zapata at 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. every single day, coming back from San Sebastián del Oeste's main plaza at 7 a.m. or 5 p.m. So this means that if you wanted to go spend the day in San Sebastián del Oeste, you can leave at 9 a.m. and come back at 5 p.m., giving you an excellent opportunity to spend a full day in this wonderful Pueblo Mágico. Or if you want to spend a couple of days over there, you can leave after work at 7 p.m. from Puerto Vallarta and once again, come back from San Sebastián del Oeste at 5 p.m. Or if you want to leave early on a Monday, for example, if you have to show up at work, you can leave San Sebastián del Oeste at 7 a.m. and be in the city in time to show up at your workplace. Last but not least, I am so grateful to those of you that shared time and energy with me yesterday at Tales Without Words. We had a great time. It was a very introspective presentation, and I loved sharing it with those that were there. It is very nurturing for me to do these presentations. And of course, the next one has to do with Ravel's music. I'm going to showcase some of my favorite Ravel compositions on May 22nd at the Joint, as always. And with that said, let us take a quick look at what's on your mind and take it from there. Lots of good mornings, as usual, and I appreciate those so very much. Let's see. Turun, tun, tun. Samuel Granddaddy Alfaro, 1 week to go. Excited to visit Puerto Vallarta. Tell us what's on your bucket list, Samuel. And if we can point you in the right direction, we'll be happy to do that. Purum pum pum. Betsy, you are so awesome. Good morning, all. And Paco, thank you for yet another wonderful music presentation last evening. We should start bringing wine or something to these presentations. Um, Daniel reacts to my comment. Smoking on a plane? Was that the 1920s? No, I remember being in the smoking section or the non smoking section of a Boeing 727 when I was a kid. Um, Oh, Daniel saw Sunset Boulevard on Broadway and was blown away. Daniel, get tickets for Oh Mary. Have you guys heard about Oh Mary? This play that is rolling people, making people roll with laughter on Broadway. If you don't know anything about it, I'll be happy to tell you a little bit of what I've discovered. Just write "Oh Mary" in your comments, and I'll be happy to to tell you a little bit about that. It's hotter in Minnesota, says Patrick Michelson. Well, it is warmer here. That's all I have to say. Paula, I believe I've answered the question, but if you have any additional questions, please feel free to let us know in a comment. Um, Again, I have had such a privilege to be closer in the last 6 months to the IFC than before, thanks to spotlight interviews that I have had the pleasure of conducting, and also thanks to the volunteer fair that Angela Kelleher and I organized just a few months ago. So it is it's amazing to see the commitment that some volunteers have to an organization. And then it's also really sad to hear, let me throw some shade at another organization that I don't need to name that relies heavily on volunteers, and learning that some volunteers just stop showing up. They don't announce that they're no longer available or something. They just stop showing up. How sad is that? Let's see what else we have. People seem to like him, the Pope with Hope. I like that, the Pope with Hope. I love that. Well, some U.S. newscast commentators were a bit um, disappointed that the Pope didn't speak English. You know, get over it. Go smoke a fatty. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's see. The new Pope seems nice. I will never agree with the Catholic attitudes on freedom to choose and LGBTQ rights. Fair. But beyond that, I like what he seems to represent. You know what I like, Meggy as in Peggy? I like that he is an educated Pope. Not to imply that other popes have not been educated, but he is a worldly Pope. I mean, he spent 20, I believe it was 20 years in Peru, in Latin America. It's just awesome. It's a Pope of the world. He's a Pope of the world. Boom, boom, boom. Barbara says, a friend mentioned watching a movie about the conclave. I would like to see it at some point because I don't know much about the topic. You know, even if you are not a Catholic, and I don't know if you are or you are not, Barbara, Conclave was a fabulous movie that was just released less than 6 months ago. It is based on a novel that I have on my Audible list. I haven't gotten to it, but the film depicts the process of choosing a pope and the ritual and the rooms and the setting and the tradition with such detail. It really is fascinating to watch. And of course, it talks about the ideological conflicts between different cardinals and whatnot. And the ending of the film is incredibly, incredibly humbling. And one of the central characters is performed by a Mexican actor. So that makes me feel good. Let's see what else we have. It's called Conclave. I think I saw it on Amazon, says Patrick Michelson. Again, I don't know what platform it is available in, but I'm sure it can still be found in a number of places. I would almost be tempted to watch it again on the big screen because it is majestically filmed. It is one of those big screen films, in my opinion. Let's see. Muffin, you are always on the dot after what has been a foreboding and frustrating year for so many across the world. Yesterday, undeniably, was a day of hope, light, and optimism, regardless of one's personal religious convictions. Bienvenido, Leo. Yes. I watched Conclave on Netflix, and it was well acted, but showed a dark and political side to the process. Hold on. I would like to think, not to agree or disagree with you, Sherry, that uh, for me, it was the dark and political side of the process is definitely part of the nature of the beast. I mean, within the Catholic religion, there are a lot of ideologies, some of which converge and some of which don't. And I was personally happy that that was represented as well on the big screen. Let's see. Oh, Maggie, you nailed it. Thank you for that. It's amazing how good it felt to witness a global event filled with joy as opposed to the usual doom and gloom. Thank you very much for that comment. I'm definitely with you there. Let's see. Let's see. Patrick says 75 years. Wow, I've only known it since 1988. I believe you refer to Los Muertos Beach. Harry Rowett's contribution to the photographic history of our city is amazing. I had the pleasure of meeting his son a number of times when he was in Puerto Vallarta about 10 years ago, trying to get an exhibition of his father's imagery at a local gallery, and that never came to pass, unfortunately. But his images of Old Vallarta are just beautiful. How many members are in the Friendship Club? Such a nice club for all with many opportunities for all. I don't know the exact number, Laura, to be honest with you. It's definitely, I think, in the thousands. But we did remember, or I do remember, Paco, start that again. I do remember that a few months ago we highlighted the benefits of becoming an international Friendship Club member. I believe we said that the membership was 500 pesos, and I could be wrong on that number. Maybe it's 400 or 600. I honestly don't remember. But what amazed me at the time is the number of discounts at participating businesses and restaurants that you get when you become a member of the IFC and you flash your card at these establishments. The membership practically pays for itself. And again, I encourage you to take a look at the IFC's website and consider supporting the IFC through a membership. Let's see. Oh, wow. See, you're ahead of the game from me, Daniel. Papa Leo opened his first homily, aka sermon, speaking in perfect English combined with his perfect fluency in Spanish and Latin. And seeing how comfortable he is on social media, it will be interesting to see how that impacts the weight of his message to leaders and people around the world. Thank you very much for that. I totally agree. He is, I love it. Jonathan writes Papi instead of Papa. I'm sure that was a typo that was not intended. He's also fluent on Italian. Absolutely. Let's see. I actually had to use the AC last night. Now that I think of it, oh my God, I hadn't thought about this. One of the main, aside from the fact that it's fucking expensive to have an AC, at least for my budget, one of the main reasons why I've never had an AC is because if I had it, I would have it only in my bedroom, and I would have to close the bedroom door, which would have prevented me to let Luna in and out of my bedroom. But now that Luna is not around, hey, maybe it's time to have, I don't know. Maybe not. AC is expensive. Let's see what else we have. Uh, oh, thank you, thank you. You know, you have no idea how much Luna lives in my mind and my heart every single day. Every single day. I know that people become very attached to ashes. Some people display them in their homes and stuff like that. To be perfectly honest with me, the ashes, for me, do not represent my kitty, and they certainly don't represent 11 glorious years of companionship. But I'll be surrounded with friends when I spread the ashes in a beautiful place, and that will be a nice way to give closure to that aspect of her sharing the path with me. But I thank you for your very very kind words. Um, oh, Kathy. Oh, Kathy. Kathy, of course, is the president of the International Friendship Club, unless my mind is freaking around with me, as it sometimes does. Fostering kittens is so rewarding. Plus, after a few weeks or months, they go on to their forever homes and you're free again to travel. See, I don't know that I could do that, Kathy. I applaud people that can foster cats or dogs and then let go. I become attached. I become attached. But you know how what they say never. I've never actually fostered an animal. So maybe I should consider fostering. I don't know. Kathy, maybe we can talk about this, you and I. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Oh Mary. Oh Mary. Oh Mary. Oh Mary is this zany comedy in which the author who plays the role of Mary. Mary is the wife of President Abraham Lincoln, and the premise of the play is that Lincoln's assassination may not have been such a bad thing after all. You see, in this farcical look at the life of Lincoln's wife, Mary, and I forget her full name, she is an alcoholic, frustrated cabaret performer. All she wants to do is be on the stage while Lincoln is busy running the battle against the South. And Mary says, "The South of what?" She is completely detached of the whole presidential life. And there's a great interview of the author. They were featured in an interview on 60 Minutes, and there's a couple of clips of this play that started its life off Broadway and then quickly made it to Broadway and has a gazillion, well, not a gazillion, but certainly more than one or two Tony Award nominations. And it is a stitch. I mean, it makes me want to be in New York to watch it. Please go to YouTube and Google Oh Mary. There's a great 60 Minutes interview there that has a little bit of snippets. And of course, the author is non-binary, and they dress with very interesting clothes and just funny. And it's such a breath of fresh air, particularly with all that's going on in the United States. So there you have it. Have you considered getting a necklace to put some ashes of Luna to wear? I've seen beautiful ones. I bet Cassandra has them. You know what? I carry my mother's ashes in my pocket already in a special little chingadera that I have. So I don't know that I want to become more of an ash carrier. Carrying my mother around is enough for me. Let's see. I think Mary Todd. Thank you very much for that, David. Mary Todd is the name of Abraham Lincoln's wife. So that is my telling you a little bit about Oh Mary. And look at the time. Oh my God, it's 11:09. It's time to close this broadcast, at least for today. Tomorrow we will feature part 2 of my wonderful interview with Stoli. Tomorrow is the segment in which we talk about her process of becoming a children's book author, how she self-published how she connected with an artist, a Mexican artist living in Spain, and they've never met. Everything was done online, and how the outcome was this beautiful, beautiful bilingual book that she has turned into a song that has rhymes in English and Spanish. She is amazing, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy the interview. So there you have it. Have a great Friday, and tomorrow we'll be back for more coffee and headlines. Take care.